Are you tired of feeling like a prisoner to your own mind? Do negative thoughts hold you back, controlling your actions and emotions? Imagine if you could break free, calm the chaos, and finally control your mind. Today, we're diving deep into the art of mastering your thoughts, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. What does it mean to control your thoughts? Our thoughts shape our lives. They influence every decision, every emotion, and every action we take. But for many of us, our thoughts feel like an unstoppable force running wild and dictating our reality. So, what if we could take back that control? Ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus taught that we don't have to be slaves to our minds. We have the power to lead our thoughts instead of being led by them. Chapter 1. Understanding the nature of thoughts. Our thoughts are powerful. They shape our perspective, our emotions, and even our lives. But here's the surprising truth. Our thoughts aren't always a reflection of reality. They're merely interpretations, colored by our unique experiences, assumptions, and biases. So to take control of our thoughts, we first need to understand what they really are. This insight is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, a timeless school of thought that teaches us how to master the mind. Imagine two people watching the same sunset. One person is filled with awe, marveling at the beauty before them. The other feels indifferent, thinking, "It's just the sun setting. What's the big deal?" The sunset remains the same for both people. What changes is how they interpret it. Their experiences and beliefs shape their reactions. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus encapsulated this idea well. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. For the Stoics, the world and the events in it are neither inherently good nor bad. It's our perception of them that determines our experience. We assign meaning to the events that happen around us, and that meaning often stems from our inner beliefs, fears, and expectations. This idea is crucial. If we recognize that thoughts are often subjective interpretations, we gain an invaluable ability, the power to step back, observe our thoughts, and question them before they influence our emotions and actions. Our thoughts are shaped by multiple factors: past experiences, cultural background, personal beliefs, fears, and desires. Each factor forms a lens through which we view the world, and they often work together in the background of our mind, shaping our interpretations of everything we see, hear, or feel. For instance, let's say you were ridiculed in childhood for a mistake you made in front of others. Later in life, that experience may give rise to a thought like, "If I fail, people will mock me." This thought, born from a painful memory, may influence how you perceive risk or challenges as an adult. It might make you avoid taking chances, fearing the negative judgment of others, even if that judgment is purely imagined. Marcus Aurelius, another prominent Stoic, emphasized this mental process. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In other words, the thoughts we entertain shape our character and actions. If we constantly think fearful, negative thoughts, we begin to embody fear and negativity. By identifying and understanding the origins of these thoughts, we can start the process of freeing ourselves from their grip. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing gray clouds in the sky. Your mind might generate thoughts like, "It's going to be a gloomy day," or "The weather always ruins my plans." These thoughts are interpretations, stories we tell ourselves about what the clouds mean. In reality, they're just clouds. The idea that they make the day gloomy or ruin our plans is entirely subjective, created by our mind. Epictetus taught, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." This insight is simple but profound. We frequently confuse our thoughts with reality, mistaking interpretations for facts. Our brains are wired to create narratives, making us prone to drawing conclusions and forming judgments without much evidence. Recognizing that thoughts are often just stories, not hard truths, is a powerful step toward taking control of our minds. By examining our thoughts closely, we can begin to see which ones are based on objective reality and which ones are simply assumptions, fears, or habits. Once we're aware of this distinction, we can decide which thoughts to keep and which to let go of. Our minds are incredibly efficient at building patterns and routines, and thoughts are no exception. If you often think self-critical thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess things up," your mind gets used to generating these kinds of thoughts in similar situations. These negative patterns can become so ingrained that they feel like facts, leading us to act as if they're true. The Stoics believed that true mastery over the mind comes from self-awareness. They emphasize the importance of recognizing these negative thought patterns so we can interrupt and eventually dissolve them. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The anxieties and fears we replay in our minds rarely come to pass, yet they shape our lives as if they were inevitable." A core technique the Stoics used to master their thoughts was the practice of mindful observation. This involves observing one's thoughts with detachment, like a scientist watching an experiment unfold. When we look at our thoughts in this way, we create a gap between the thought and our emotional reaction to it. This gap allows us to decide how to respond instead of reacting automatically. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning to anticipate challenges, but also to observe his reaction to them with objectivity. In Meditations, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By observing our thoughts without judgment, we can cultivate resilience and inner strength, realizing that we control our reactions no matter what thoughts arise. Once we've observed a thought, the next step is to question it. Is it based on fact or merely fear? Does it serve us or does it hold us back? For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't handle this," challenge that thought. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that I can't handle it? Have I overcome similar challenges before? This process of questioning is often enough to weaken the thought's influence. By breaking down the thought and examining its validity, you gain clarity and confidence. Epictetus believed that we should hold our thoughts accountable, just as we would any other belief or opinion. He said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." By questioning our thoughts, we choose to act in line with our higher values, not in reaction to passing fears or insecurities. Reframing is a powerful tool that allows us to shift our perspective on a thought. If you're feeling anxious about a presentation, instead of thinking, "I'm going to mess this up," try reframing it to, "This is a chance to grow and improve my skills." The Stoics were masters at reframing. For instance, Marcus Aurelius would remind himself that obstacles were opportunities for growth. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the essence of reframing, seeing a challenging thought or situation as something that can propel us forward rather than hold us back. By reframing our thoughts, we transform challenges into opportunities and fears into lessons. We start to see setbacks as stepping stones and failures as experiences that bring us closer to our goals. The Stoics believed that our greatest power lies in our ability to choose our thoughts. While we may not have control over external events, we always have control over how we interpret them. This realization is liberating. It means that no matter what life throws at us, we can respond with strength, resilience, and wisdom. In practice, this means acknowledging our thoughts without getting lost in them. It means observing our mind with curiosity, questioning our beliefs, and reshaping our thoughts in ways that support our well-being. Through these practices, we begin to live as the Stoics did, empowered, calm, and free from the grip of unnecessary suffering. 2. Practical techniques to take control of your mind. Mastering our thoughts is no easy task, yet it's essential for inner peace, clarity, and resilience. When we learn to control our minds, we begin to see life from a balanced, empowered perspective, rather than being overwhelmed by fleeting emotions or assumptions. In Stoicism, the art of managing thoughts is central, offering us a way to rise above impulsive reactions and navigate life with calmness and wisdom. Here are 3 Stoic-inspired techniques that can help you gain control over your thoughts, empower your actions, and cultivate mental clarity. Technique number 1. The observer's mindset. To effectively manage our minds, we need to step back and observe our thoughts with detachment. The Stoics understood that thoughts are often colored by emotions, judgments, and biases. By taking a step back and watching our thoughts as if we were observing someone else's mind, we can separate ourselves from emotional reactions and start seeing things more clearly. This practice is often called mindful observation, and it helps us recognize thoughts for what they truly are, temporary and often inaccurate interpretations of reality. Imagine yourself as a scientist, observing the thoughts in your mind as data points without judgment. If a thought arises that makes you feel anxious or insecure, don't immediately react to it. Instead, observe it as if you were simply noting its presence. This mindset is what allows you to disengage from the immediate, emotional impact of the thought. Suppose you have a thought like, "I'm going to fail at this." Instead of immediately believing it and feeling anxious, take a step back and watch the thought. Notice that it's just a collection of words, something your mind produced but not necessarily an accurate prediction. By observing, you create a gap between yourself and the thought, and within that gap lies the freedom to choose how you respond. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By observing our thoughts instead of identifying with them, we prevent them from dyeing us with anxiety, anger, or fear. This observer's mindset helps us experience thoughts as passing phenomena rather than defining aspects of who we are. The observer's mindset helps us detach from reactive thought patterns, allowing us to make clearer, more objective decisions. By practicing this technique, we learn to see thoughts for what they are, mere ideas that we can either act on or let go of. We gain a calm sense of control, which can reduce stress and improve our ability to handle challenges with resilience. Technique number 2. Question your thoughts. Not all thoughts are true or helpful, yet our minds are adept at conjuring up fears, doubts, and negative assumptions. Many of these thoughts come from ingrained patterns, social conditioning, or past experiences. One powerful way to weaken these thoughts is to question them actively. The Stoics believed in critically examining thoughts to discern which ones deserved attention and which ones were better left behind. When a negative thought appears, take a moment to challenge its validity. Ask yourself questions like, is this thought based on fact or just a fear? Does this thought help me or does it hold me back? Is there a different, more constructive way to look at this situation? This process is sometimes called cognitive reframing or cognitive restructuring in modern psychology, and it aligns perfectly with Stoic practice. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, advised, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." By examining our thoughts and reframing them, we can change the way they affect us emotionally. Suppose you're preparing for an important presentation, and a thought arises, "I'm not good enough to deliver this." Rather than accepting it, question the thought. Ask yourself, is there evidence that I'm not good enough? Have I prepared? Have I succeeded in similar situations? This line of questioning often reveals that your thought is based more on fear than on fact. By questioning it, you reduce its power over you and replace it with a more balanced view. When you question your thoughts, you begin to see things more rationally. You become less susceptible to negative patterns and start gaining control over your reactions. This process builds confidence, reduces anxiety, and empowers you to face challenges with a clear, composed mindset. Technique number 3. Reframe. Negative thoughts. Reframing is the art of taking a negative thought and turning it into something constructive or empowering. This technique allows you to change the lens through which you view a situation, shifting your mindset from defeat to growth, from frustration to opportunity. Stoic philosophers often used reframing as a tool for resilience, transforming challenging situations into opportunities for learning and self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius beautifully illustrated the power of reframing in his writings. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When we encounter obstacles, reframing helps us see them not as roadblocks, but as essential steps toward progress. When a negative thought surfaces, take a moment to reframe it. For example, instead of thinking, "I failed, so I'm a failure," try rephrasing it as, "I failed, and now I know what not to do next time." This shift in perspective is subtle but transformative. You're turning a self-critical thought into a valuable lesson, seeing failure as an essential part of growth. Another helpful reframing technique is to ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can this make me stronger?" These questions invite you to see challenges from a constructive standpoint, helping you find positive, empowering meanings even in difficult situations. Imagine you've missed a deadline at work. Your first thought might be, "I'm not competent enough." But with reframing, you could see the situation differently. "I need to improve my time management, and this experience can help me become better at prioritizing tasks." This approach takes the sting out of failure and turns it into a productive learning moment. Reframing gives us the power to reshape our inner dialogue, enabling us to overcome setbacks and view them as essential steps in personal growth. By consistently reframing negative thoughts, we start to cultivate a positive, resilient outlook. We learn to see life's challenges as opportunities to strengthen our character, just as the Stoics taught. Each of these techniques, the observer's mindset, questioning your thoughts, and reframing negative thoughts, offers a powerful tool for mental mastery. But to truly benefit from them, they must be practiced consistently. Here are some ways to integrate them into your daily routine. Morning reflection. Begin each day with a moment of mindful observation. Check in with your thoughts and emotions without judgment, and remind yourself to observe rather than react impulsively. A simple mantra like, "I am the observer of my thoughts," can reinforce this mindset. Daily journaling. Journaling is an excellent way to question and reframe your thoughts. Write down any negative thoughts you experience and actively question them on paper. Consider alternative perspectives and note any insights gained. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal to reflect on his thoughts daily, and his meditations continue to inspire readers today. Evening review. At the end of the day, reflect on any challenging situations. Consider how you responded to your thoughts and whether you successfully reframed any negative ideas. This practice will help you strengthen these techniques over time. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in mastering the mind. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced hardship and challenges, but found peace by cultivating control over their thoughts and emotions. Through mindful observation, questioning, and reframing, we can begin to experience that same inner peace. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." As we practice these techniques, we gradually free ourselves from the tyranny of negative thoughts and reactive impulses. We begin to realize that, while we may not have control over every situation, we always have control over how we perceive and respond to them. With practice, these techniques become habits, forming a strong foundation of inner strength. Just like the Stoics, we learn to live with a sense of calm, clarity, and resilience, regardless of what life may bring our way. 3. Embracing Stoic wisdom in everyday life. Stoicism, a philosophy built on resilience and self-mastery, teaches us that while we can't control everything in life, we can always choose how we respond. In our unpredictable world, this idea offers freedom and strength. empowering us to navigate life with a calm and steady mind. Marcus Aurelius famously stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This message is at the heart of Stoic wisdom, the ability to remain in control of ourselves, no matter what life throws our way. Let's explore how to integrate Stoic principles into everyday life, enabling us to become more grounded, less reactive, and more at peace with life's challenges. Stoicism divides the world into two domains: things we can control and things we cannot. According to Epictetus, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. This foundational Stoic insight encourages us to focus on our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes, while letting go of attempts to control the uncontrollable. In daily life, we encounter numerous situations that can trigger worry, frustration, or disappointment, whether it's an unexpected change at work, a traffic jam, or a disagreement with a friend. By remembering the principle of control, we can ask ourselves, is this within my control? If not, then we can direct our energy toward what we can change, our own perspective and response. To live by Stoic principles, we must practice detachment from outcomes, learning to let go of expectations for specific results. This doesn't mean we stop caring. Rather, it means we stay centered, regardless of how situations unfold. Detachment is the art of fully committing to our actions while accepting that we cannot guarantee specific outcomes. Imagine you're working hard on a project that's very important to you. You've put in hours of effort, and you're hopeful that it will receive praise or achieve success. However, Stoicism encourages you to detach from the outcome. You control the effort you put into the project, but the final result might depend on external factors beyond your influence. When we detach, we find freedom from the anxiety of what if it doesn't work out. Instead, we remind ourselves, I've done my part, and that's within my control. This mindset frees us from unnecessary worry, allowing us to focus on giving our best rather than obsessing over results. Marcus Aurelius embodied this principle when he said, "Do not be disturbed by the opinions of others. Stand upright in your strength." He reminds us that inner strength lies in focusing on our actions and values, not on how others respond. Acceptance is a core Stoic principle. Accepting what happens without resistance or frustration is not about giving up, but about finding peace with the natural flow of life. Life is unpredictable, and we will inevitably encounter hardships, losses, and disappointments. Instead of fighting against what we can't change, we can choose to accept it with calmness, allowing us to preserve our inner peace. Seneca offers wisdom on this when he says, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This quote highlights the suffering that comes from resisting reality or wanting things to be different. When we accept the present moment as it is, we free ourselves from unnecessary mental anguish. Suppose a relationship you deeply value comes to an end, or perhaps a promotion at work doesn't materialize. While natural to feel disappointment, a Stoic approach would guide you toward acceptance. Rather than resisting reality or replaying what-if scenarios, you could remind yourself, I cannot control others' decisions or the outcome of events, but I can control how I respond. By accepting the situation, you reclaim your peace and strength, focusing instead on what lies within your control. Gratitude and self-reflection are essential practices in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics encourage us to reflect on what we have rather than focusing on what we lack. By practicing gratitude, we cultivate a sense of abundance, appreciating life's simple pleasures and recognizing our inner resources. Marcus Aurelius advocated for daily reflection in his Meditations, a journal where he reminded himself of life's blessings and his responsibility to act virtuously. This practice of self-reflection keeps us grounded and reminds us to align our actions with our principles. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. Whether it's supportive relationships, health, or personal growth, Acknowledge these things with a sense of appreciation. Similarly, use self-reflection to evaluate your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, did I respond to challenges with patience? Did I act with integrity? By making this a habit, you cultivate a mindset that finds contentment in the present and embraces the wisdom to make better choices in the future. Stoicism teaches us that challenges and hardships are not to be avoided, but embraced as opportunities to strengthen our character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every difficulty we encounter can teach us valuable lessons, helping us develop resilience, patience, and wisdom. When we approach life's obstacles with this mindset, we become less fearful of challenges and more open to growth. Instead of seeing problems as setbacks, we start to see them as pathways to self-improvement. Consider a time when you faced a significant setback, perhaps a failed project or a lost opportunity. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? This perspective transforms a negative situation in a chance for self-improvement. By applying this lesson, you'll approach future challenges with greater resilience and wisdom. The Stoics believed that to live well, we must live with purpose, guided by our values and principles rather than by fleeting desires. They called this sense of purpose our duty, our responsibility to act with integrity, courage, and kindness. Epictetus reminds us, first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This principle of intentional living helps us make decisions that align with our core values, leading to a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. By focusing on actions that reflect our highest principles, we can navigate life's challenges with purpose and strength. Imagine you're tempted to cut corners on a task or make a choice that conflicts with your values. A Stoic approach would encourage you to pause and consider, is this action in alignment with my values? By living intentionally, you make choices that reflect who you want to be, rather than acting on impulses or external pressures. This alignment brings peace and integrity, creating a life of purpose and meaning. Bringing Stoic wisdom into your daily routine. Morning reflection. Begin each day by setting an intention, reflecting on what is within your control, and reminding yourself to focus on your values. Consider starting with a Stoic quote as a guide for the day. Mindful breathing. Throughout the day, use moments of mindful breathing to center yourself, especially during challenging situations. This practice helps you detach from reactive thoughts and stay calm under pressure. Evening review. End each day with a reflection on your actions, noting areas where you acted in alignment with Stoic principles, and where you might improve. This helps reinforce resilience and intentionality. Living by Stoic principles is a journey toward inner freedom and lasting resilience. When we focus on what we can control, practice detachment, embrace gratitude, and see challenges as opportunities, we cultivate a state of peace and strength. Stoicism empowers us to rise above external chaos and find stability within ourselves, granting us the freedom to live in harmony with our values. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In each moment, we have the choice to embody Stoic wisdom, to act with clarity and courage, and to respond to life with the steady calm of a practiced mind. Embracing Stoic principles allows us to face life's uncertainties with grace, making us not only resilient, but truly free. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the one capable of stepping back, questioning and reshaping them. Your mind might throw countless ideas, worries, and interpretations your way, but those thoughts don't define who you are. Recognizing this is a powerful step toward achieving inner freedom and clarity. As Epictetus wisely observed, you become what you give your attention to. When you let go of identifying with every thought, you reclaim the power to shape your experience and live intentionally. Remember, you are not your thoughts, you are the one observing, questioning, and reshaping them. By embracing these Stoic techniques, you can break free from the chains of your mind and lead a life of clarity and purpose. So, next time your mind feels like it's spinning out of control, remember, stop, observe, question, and reframe. Take control and start living the life you truly want. Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more Stoic insights and life-changing lessons. Let's journey together toward mental freedom. Remember, the power to change your life is already within you.